TMS is a tool through which we move the data from one database to another database. Why we need TMS? What is TMS means? TMS is nothing but exporting the data and importing the data. What is the need of exporting and importing? Why you need to export and import? Why means in SAP, whatever you do, everything will be saved centrally in the database. Database is a logical one, so you cannot move that logical content from one system to another system. That is the reason what we do, we export the data to application level into physical format, then copy that, then we'll get co-file and data file in transport subdirectory co-file and data file. Then you copy that co-file data file from development trans directory to quality trans directory. Then that physical files will again import into the logical database. This exporting, copying plus import is nothing but TMS. To understand this concept, we segregated this topic into three parts. Sorry. One is CTO, second one is TMS, third one is TP tools. CTO means what? A change transport organizer. The T code is SE06. It comprises of three things: customizing organizer SE10, workbench organizer SE09, and transport organizer SE01. So as a post installation activity, before configuring TMS, we need to activate the CTO by hitting SE06 T code. When you hit this SE06 T code, it will give you two options. One is standard installation, second one is system copy or migration. If your system is a fresh installation, then go with standard installation. If your system is result of system copy or migration, then choose second one. As of now, we are going with the first option, the fresh installation. And then when you say perform post installation activities, these three functionalities will be activated. Which three? Workbench organizer, customizing organizer, transport organizer will be activated. And the first time, applications SID will be stored into the database for the first time. And from that point onwards, whatever the changes you do in the database will be recorded as a transport request. To record as a transport request for client specific objects, your client settings should be automatic recording of changes. For class client settings and repository settings, just you need to allow the changes. And it will create a user called TMS ADM user will be created. And when you are configuring TMS, one user will be created. What is that user? TMS ADM. One RFC connection will be created. What is that RFC connection?
TMS SUP.
TMS SUP. Excellent. TMS SUP RFC connection will be created. Okay. To create TMS, when we are creating, we are configuring TMS in a development system, we don't have quality system and production system live, physical systems. So what we do, we configure some virtual systems. After configuring the virtual systems, we configure transport routes, transport layers, and then we distribute and we activate it. Like that, we configure TMS. Right? In this, SE09 is for workbench organizer, means if you change any cross-client data, means cross-client customizing or repository data, that will be recorded by workbench organizer as a workbench request. And if you do any client-specific changes, it will be recorded by customizing organizer as a customizing request. This is all about your CTO. If your system is a fresh installation, it is not mandatory to hit SE06. But if your system is result of system copy or migration, it is mandatory to hit SE06 before configuring TMS. So whenever you are configuring the TMS, the best practice is hit SE06 and activate all these functionalities. And when you activate this and when you configure this now, it will generate a initial transport request ID SID K902. And about TMS, when it comes to TMS, for example, if you are having three system landscape, the first system is called as an integration system, your development system. Second system is called as quality consolidation system. Third system is production system, delivery system. Here they will ask you what is domain. All the systems comes under one domain, one group is called as domain. And what is domain controller? Domain controller is one of the R3 system in domain. It acts as a leader for all the systems. It holds a reference configuration information of your TMS, and it shares its transport directory as a common transport directory for all the system. Is it mandatory to share? No, your wish. If you want, you can share your transport directory as a common transport directory, or else you can have individual transport directory for individual systems. If you are having individual transport directory for different system, you have to export, copy plus import. If you are having the common transport directory, just you can say export and import. You need not to copy again and again. Why? That USRSAP trans directory is shared between the systems. And transport, these three are physical systems. So to communicate from one system to another system, what you need? You need transport layers, sorry, transport routes. So from integration system to consolidation system, we draw consolidation layer, consolidation route. From consolidation system to delivery system, we draw delivery route. Here, consolidation route requires transport layers. One is for standard objects, that route name is SAP. Second one is for customizing objects, that route name is ZSID. And when it comes to delivery route, it doesn't require any layers. One layer is enough. Why? In quality system, all the customizing changes and standard changes will coming into quality system, and they are consolidating there, merging there, testing there. After merging, consolidated and testing, you don't need separate layers. That is the reason delivery route doesn't have transport layers. Only one route is enough. So we have seen how to create a transport request. For example, if you're changing any cross-client data, we have taken example of that logical system BD54, and we try to edit one logical system name. It is prompting us for workbench request. If you do any changes to client specific data, it will prompt you for customizing request. When you create a transport request, for example, SID K9 lakh 2 is created. Under that, another subtask also will be created. First of all, you have to release that subtask, then the main task. When you release is nothing but technically exporting. When you release a transport request, the associated data will be exported to your applications levels, USR, SAP trans, co-file and data file. Two files will be generated. One is co-file, second one is data file. Co-file naming convention starts with K, data file naming convention starts with R. What we have in that co-file? That co-file contains which type of transport request it is, means whether it is a customized request or a workbench request or any other type of request, and a return codes. And to import this data into the target system, what all the jobs we have to perform, we have to run, that jobs information will be kept in your co-file. Means it is having some controlling information. So actual data you will be having in data file, the naming convention is R. So you have to copy that co-file data file from development systems USR SAP trans to quality systems USR SAP trans co-file data file. Then log in into quality system and hit STMS or STMS underscore import T code. Then refresh, import. In import queue, your transport request will be there. It will be added to already to buffer. Just to select that transport request and say import small single truck button for single transport request. If you are adding multiple transport requests, big truck button. When you hit that single truck button, it will ask you for options. Start, you can schedule this transport for later time also. And options, who will provide you these options? The owner of the transport request will provide you these options. You have to select these options, and you have to he will give you the target system ID and target client. Already target system ID will be there. That is, next target is QA only. In that QA, if you are having 2 to 3 clients, then you have to give that client number. So the transport request will be imported into your quality system. From there, the same procedure for production also. So this is what we covered, right? And we also discussed about this transport TP return codes 0, 4, 8 and 12. 0 means successful, 4 means warnings, 8 means errors, 12 means fatal error. If the return code is 0 and 4, nothing to worry. If the return code is 8, if you are importing into the quality, you get 8 return code. You have to inform that developer that we got 8 return code. Please look into that before importing into the co-production client. production system. If the written code is 12 means that is purely basis problem. The TP is not working, R3 trans is not working, TMS is not configured, TP profile missing, some background jobs missing. That all we see today. That is basis related issue. If 8 means the developer's issue, 12 means the basis guy issue. In general, not surely. And transport route, transport directory. In the transport directory we are having bin. USR SAP trans is the transport directory. In that we are having subdirectories called bin, buffer, cofile, data file, SAP names, logs, EPS in, SAP names, and temp. TMP. Bin contains two files. One is TP profile, second one is a domain configuration file. TP profile means how your TP should work. Remember, this exporting and importing. For doing this export and import in a backend, there are two executables, two binaries will work. One is tp.exe, second one is r3 trans.exe. Where you will get all these binaries? In your kernel directory, if you find, you will get tp.exe and r3 trans.exe. How this TP should behave, everything will be written in your TP profile. TP underscore domain underscore SID underscore dot PFL, that is TP profile naming convention. Second one is a domain configuration file, domain.cfg. What is this contains means, I told you your domain controller will hold the reference configuration information, means what all the systems involved in this TMS, the host names and the databases and the target systems, everything in detail will be, the configuration information of your TMS will be kept in that file. You should not edit or delete these two files. Remember that. And buffer contains target system buffer. When you configure a development, then the next target system is quality, the next target system is production. When you release a transport request from development, it will be automatically added to qualities buffer. When you import into the quality, it will be automatically added to productions buffer. That is a temporary storage area. Then SAP names, the people who are associated with this TMS will have their names there. And EPS in electronic parcel service inbox, that we use for support package, the next concept. And log contains logs. If your TMS is importing or exporting, there at that time you will get logs. Few logs are slog, ulog and alog, action log, system log and user log. If your transport is having any problem, you have to look into these logs. And another directory is what? EPS, SAP names, log, temp. Temp is a temporary execution. I told you your control file is having some background jobs which are necessary for importing this job. I told you, na? So to import some data into the target database, some background jobs need to be run. At the time of the background jobs execution, you need some space to execute that programs. They will use your temp directory for that. That is the reason I told you, if your transport is hang, just look into your temp directory whether it is getting updated and some files are coming there and vanishing there. That means your transport is running. If you are not getting anything there and you don't have any login then check in the log directory. You will get it. Whether your transport is hang or running, everything you will get by simply observing into your trans directory. So everything is fine. You release the transport from development system and you import it. So your developer released a transport request from development and he asked you to import into the quality, and he gave you the options which you need to choose and the target system, target client. Just you take that number and log in into the quality, say stms underscore import, refresh, the transport request will be there, select the transport request and say import, and choose the target client, target system and the options, whatever the options they told you, you have to check them and say continue. Simple. Your transport request should be imported into the quality. Before that, you have to copy that cofile and data file to qualities user SAP trans cofile data file. Fine, everything is fine. If something goes wrong, how you troubleshoot that? So when you say export and when you say import, what is happening in a backend? As a basis consultant, if you know what is happening in a backend, then only you can troubleshoot if you get any problem, right? So today we'll see what happens in the backend when you import a transport request. Just you are selecting a transport request, just you are putting your co-file and data file into quality systems co-file and data file and selecting your transport request, and you are saying truck button. You are clicking truck button and you are selecting the target client and the options and say okay. It is importing. How it is importing? What is happening in the backend? That we'll see today. Can you please relog in? Only 4 minutes left. There are two executable files in SAP which are responsible for this exporting and importing. One is tp.exe, second one is r3 trans.exe. r3 trans.exe. So remember here, tp.exe means where you will get that file in your kernel directory. So when you say release a transport request, what is happening in a backend? Releasing is nothing but exporting from the database level to application level. So this export, and when you say import, both the things are done by this tp.exe and r3 trans.exe. Remember here, your TP won't do any work. TP just initiates R3 trans. Actually, who will connect with your database means R3 trans. R3 trans will connect with your database. That is the reason to check the connectivity between application to database, we use R3 trans -d command to check the link between application to database. So actual work is done by R3 trans. TP only initiate the works. R3 trans.exe is responsible for exporting the data from a database to application and importing the data from application to database. Both export work and import work both done by R3 trans.exe. Actual work is done by R3 trans.exe. So when you import a transport request, how this TP and R3 trans are working? To work this TP properly, you should have that TP profile. Where you will get the TP profile? USR SAP trans bin. Under that bin you will be having TP underscore domain underscore sid.pfl file is there. Na? If that file is missing, your TP won't know what to do. So that file contains all the host names, all the database names which are participated in this in TMS, and the transport layers, transport routes information. Everything will be there. So TP will read that profile, TP profile. If that TP profile is working, not there, TP won't work. Remember the interrelationship between this tp.exe and that TP profile. Who will do the actual work? R3 trans. Who will initiate? tp.exe. tp.exe is a builder. Builder will initiate the worker, right? The labor to do some task. The same thing, TP acts as a builder. R3 trans is the person who will do actual work, who will build the building. Correlate with this. When you import a transport request, what is happening in a backend? See, on the operating system, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
On the operating system level, TP tracks the extended objects, ensuring that they are added to the database of the target system. The interaction between TP and R3 trans is depicted. TP always reads the transport profile in the transport directory that determines how TP should behave. This transport file specifies the host, database, and the path information through certain parameter settings. That means if you don't have that TP profile in that bin directory, your TP won't work. TP reads that file and according to that it will behave. When starting an import, when you say import, for example, there are 4 transport requests. You want to import only one transport request. So what TP will do when starting the import, TP sets a stop mark at the end of the import buffer of the target system. For example, when you release some 1 to 10 transport requests to quality. So you want to just import up to 5, not up to 10. So you selected 5 transport requests and say big truck button. Big truck, why I am using big truck button here? I am using multiple transport requests, right? So this TP and will go and put a stop mark at 5, transport request number 5. Up to that only it will import. Up to 10, whatever the transport request you have in the queue, it won't import. Remember that. TP sets a stop mark at the end of the import buffer of the target system and reads the import buffer to determine which change request has to be imported, which import steps have to be performed for which change request. In addition, TP reads the corresponding co-file, control file means co-file, in the subdirectory co-file for details of the steps to be imported. See, TP is reading what file? Control file. TP is reading control file for the details on the steps to be performed. That means to import you need a control file. Without control file, TP don't know. Control file contains the entire information, how, what are the jobs you need to perform to import this data into the target system. Everything will be defined in your co-file. That is the reason TP will read that co-file from co-file subdirectory to know the detailed steps to be performed. Okay, so what happens when you import a transport request? What happens? So you will be having, for example, one co-file. What is your co-file name? For example, K sum 9 lakh 2. And what is your data file? R sum 9 lakh 2. Now you said STMS underscore import, STMS underscore import, and select your transport request SID K9 lakh 2 and say single track button. So what is happening in a backend at operating system level? What is happening? This is OS level only, na? OS level, what is happening? TP reads the co-file from where? Co-file subdirectory to know the necessary steps to be taken to import this data into the database. This is at application level, right? Database is here in the bottom. In the bottom, I am having database. This is my database. Now you are at application level. This USR SAP directory belongs to application. From application to database, you have to import. To import this data, this R9 lakh 2 data into this database, what some background jobs need to be run. That background jobs information will be kept in your co-file, controlling information. So first, who is responsible? TP and R3 trans, right? So TP first comes and reads the co-file from co-file subdirectory. It will go to co-file subdirectory and read that co-file. And TP will understand, okay, these are the steps I need to perform. Fine. Then it will copy that co-file from co-file subdirectory and paste it into your temp subdirectory where it is running. I told you why we use temp directory. Execution of that background jobs you need is a temporary storage area, right? So it will use that area. That is the reason it will copy that entire co-file to temp subdirectory. First, TP reads co-file from co-file subdirectory and copies that co-file into temp subdirectory. What is this co-file is having? All the necessary jobs we need to run. Everything is written in that. Then, I'll write down otherwise. First thing, what happens? TP reads co-file from co-file directory, right? Any doubt here? Please, if you are having any doubt, stop me. Anyone? When you say import in a backend, this will happen. Second, paste into temp subdirectory. What is it is pasting? Paste co-file into temp subdirectory. Okay, done. Third point, TP initiates R3 trans. Now R3 trans is coming. TP initiates R3 trans. TP is ordering R3 trans to do the import job. Now, how R3 trans know what are the steps I need to perform? R3 trans read
X
cofile from
temp
temp directory and perform necessary
necessary action.
actions. Finally, leaves log at temp directory. So who is TP is a builder, R3 trans is a worker. So I ordered R3 trans to perform some task at that location. So you finish that work, and from that location only you will inform me, right, sir? Whatever the work you have assigned me, I have completed. The same way, R3 trans read control file from subdirectory temp subdirectory and perform necessary actions and leaves the log. Log means what? Whether it is successful, cancelled, everything, whatever, at the temp directory only. It will finish the work and it will leave the log there itself. Finally, the hero will come into picture. TP comes and reads log from which directory? Temp directory,
Temp directory.
and moves log to log subdirectory. There is another subdirectory, right? Log is there. Here first the log will generate here. From here it will move that log to log subdirectory. The first thing is TP reads the cofile and paste it into temp directory. First process. Second one, TP calls R3 trans to do the TP initiates R3 trans. R3 trans will come and read the cofile from temp subdirectory and perform the necessary actions and leaves the logs itself there. Finally, TP comes and read the log from temp directory and finally give log to log subdirectory. This will happen at operating system level. So if your transport is hang, if your transport is running for so long time, where you will check now? See, observe something. Few things here. See, temp, in temp it is running all the jobs, means in this if you open that temp subdirectory now, some job names will come and vanish, that means your import is happening and you will get the log in log directory. First of all, you have to check whether cofile and data file exist or not. The second thing, you have to check whether TP is working or not. How you check whether TP is working or not? There is one report called RS-TP test. Go to SE38T code and run that RS-TP test report. If you get everything Nike symbol, I'll show you otherwise. Go to SE38 and hit RSTP test, RSTP test, and enter. Execute. So you have to check whether your TP is working fine or not, and you got cofile and data file or not, and your temp directory is updating or not, and did you get any log in that log subdirectory. See, everything is green here. No, all these things are not green. So some problem is there in your TP. Definitely you will get transport importation problem. Everything should be in green. Then only that means your TP is working fine. Like this we have to check. So till now you know what is happening in a backend at application level. So cofile, data file, TP, you need to check temp directory, you need to check log directory. Yes or no? Any doubts here?
No.
No. Everyone, please.
No doubts.
So if anybody asks you about transport troubleshooting, you should know all these things. Okay, we have to check whether TP is working or not by using RSTP test report. Then first of all, we have to check whether co-file and data file generated or not. Then we have to check temp directory whether it is updating or not. Okay. Then we have to check the log. Okay. In log directory also we check log. Fine. And what is happening at the database level? That is second one. Can anyone please take a picture of this and post into the group? Yes. Can I delete this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Now, what is happening in the database level? Application level, you have seen. Database level, what is actually the data has to be imported into the database. Now, in database level, if you go with a database level, there are two tables called. First, what happens in database level? We'll see. First, TP reads co-file from co-file subdirectory.
Screen is not open.
Okay.
అన్న స్క్రీన్ చేంజ్ అవ్వలేదు.
Now,
యా ఓకే.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
TP reads co-file from co-file subdirectory. Then we need to discuss about two things here. One is a tr bat table. Second one is tr job table. There are two tables in the database level. In transport troubleshooting, you have to mention about these two tables. One is tr bat. Second one is a tr job table. TP reads the co-file from co-file subdirectory, and this co-file contains what? All the necessary jobs, right? What are the jobs need to run to import that data? Na? The job names will start from RDD jobs. RDD, some name will be there. So I'm going with star star star. Some RDD jobs you need to run to import that data. That all the jobs will be written to your tr bat table. Okay. One by one job will be copied to tr job table and it will execute. First RDD job finish, executed. Second RDD job will be copied to tr job, executed. Third RDD job, fourth like this. All your RDD jobs which are needed for import that transport request the data into your target database, all the jobs name will be written in your co-file. That co-file's information is this. Will be pasted into your tr bat table. Later, all the jobs will be executed in tr job table. So, if somebody asks you about a transport troubleshooting, you have to tell them whether tr bat and tr job got any old entries. If there are any old entries, that new entries is not accepting that. So, you have to delete that two tables entries. Then you have to re-import that transport. Then you will get it. So, first TP reads co-file from co-file subdirectory. Second thing, paste co-file into tr bat table. Tr bat table. This you know. So at application level, TP reads co-file and paste it into temp subdirectory. At database level, it is pasting into tr bat table. It is pasting into tr bat table. Remember that table name. Third, at application level, TP initiates R3 trans, right? Here, TP initiates one job called RDD IMP DP job.
TP job.
Remember these keywords: RDD IMP DP. What is this RDD IMP DP? Means import dispatcher RDD jobs. I told you RDD and then job name. I import dispatcher job. So this RDD IMP DP job is scheduled in all SAP systems. What is this job scheduled? Means import dispatcher. So this job will run for each and every 1 minute according to the parameter time, whatever time you set. According to that, this job will check in your system whether is there any imports I have to perform. For every 1 minute, the job will run and it will check. The job will run, it will check, is there any imports I need to perform? Yes. If there are any imports are pending, it will import into the database. So to do import anything into your database, this job must be scheduled in your all the clients. So TP initiates that job. Okay, it will go and kick that job. Okay, here some import job is there, you perform. Then RDD will start one job, another job from one the RDD job into TR bat. Then second RDD job into TR job. It will copy this RDD job into TR job and execute and vanish. This job copy, execute and vanish. Finally, they leave login log subdirectory. I think tr bat, I think leaves log at log subdirectory at application level. Subdirectory means finish. This will happen at a database. So paste it into okay. TP initiates a tr bat. Okay, fourth one we will write this. Copy one by one job into tr job table. I can say tr job table and execute. Okay, table and execute. Then leaves log at a log subdirectory. This is happening at a database level. So see, at application level, the troubleshooting part is whether TP is working or not, whether cofile data file generated or not. Third one, check the temp directory, check log subdirectory. At database level, you have to check whether tr bat and tr job tables got any old entries, whether RDD IMPDP job is scheduled or not. Then you have to check this log also. So you have to mention tr bat table name, tr job table name, and RDD IMPDP. If anybody asks you about your this transport troubleshooting, what are the job names? tr bat and tr job. These two are tables. Remember, tr bat and tr job are tables. RDD IMPDP is job. RDD IMPDP job. So if you mention all these keywords, that is enough for transport troubleshooting. If you know what is happening in a backend, then only you can explain the troubleshooting, right or wrong. So we'll see that document one more time. If you missed anything. See, TP reads the control file, subdirectory cofile and details steps. TP passes a control file to the transport subdirectory temp for use by R3 trans. TP then calls R3 trans by initiating a new process. R3 trans read the control file from the temp subdirectory and cofile determines what activities have to be performed. Okay. R3 trans reuses the data files that is stored into the subdirectory data during export and connects to the database of the target system to import the objects. When importing objects to the target database, R3 trans updates, inserts and deletes the data in the database. R3 trans is responsible for the import steps. Above dictionary import for the import. R3 trans always passes a return code to TP when exiting each transport action. R3 trans writes a login to the transport subdirectory of the temp. It will write login to temp directory only at application level. Finally, TP interprets the return code from R3 trans and moves it into log subdirectory. This part at application level we covered, right? At database level, what happens? ABAP program is executed background job to execute necessary transports. TP uses the control tables. One is tr bat, second one is a tr job to communicate with the various ABAP programs. Okay. TP writes entries to the control file tr bat, which will contain specifying steps to perform the respective request. The TP is interaction between ABAP program and making request into tr bat. TP triggers the import dispatcher job, RDD IMPDP job. As a prerequisite, RDD IMPDP must be scheduled an event periodic background job in client 000 of target system. In client 000, by default, this job will be scheduled as event periodic background. Periodic means for every period it will run, for every 1 minute or 300 seconds or anything. It should be scheduled. So So additionally, a similar background job must be scheduled in every target client also. So when you copy from 000 to new client, already that job will be copied automatically, will be copied to this target client also. So nothing to worry. If not, if it is not running, we have to run RGD new PP job. If RGD IMPDP job is not running, you have to run RGD new PP. What is that? I'll tell you. See, you check SM37. Go to SM, where you check background jobs? SM37. All the users, I'll go with all the users. Starting time to execute. By using DDAC, this RGD IMP DP. See, check RGD IMP DP job is running or not. RGD IMP DP job is running. If it is not running RGD IMP DP job, then you have to run RGD new PP. How you run any report? SC38. Go to SC38 and run RGD new PP job. Nothing is there. RGD new PP. See, if I run this job, what it is doing? Schedule transport dispatcher RGD IMPDP in backend. That's it. Just execute. Normal, high priority. Okay, I'm going with normal. Background job RGD IMPDP successfully scheduled in client 000. So if RGD IMPDP job is not running in your target client, then you just run RGD new PP program. It will trigger RGD IMPDP job automatically. So they will ask you in interview, if RGD IMPDP is not running, what will you do? You have to run RGD new PP job. Just SC38 RGD new PP execute. It will trigger RGD IMPDP job. What this RGD IMPDP will do? It is an import dispatcher job. It is an event periodic background job which will check in your system whether any transports are there to import. Is there any imports are pending in the system? If there are any imports pending, I'll do the import. That is that job's duty. If that job is not scheduled, you have to schedule this job. You have to run this program. This program will kick this RGD IMPDP. Collectively, then it will copy each and every job into TR job table and TR bat and delete the corresponding TR job entry, and just before it finish, it will clear. Then also writes log file into the transport directory into the subdirectory temp. Okay, temp directory only. It will write the log into temp directory again from the database level also. At the end of an import, these log files are moved to subdirectory log trans log by TP. So only one mistake. Not log, leaves log at temp subdirectory. Okay, that's it. Finally, TP moves that log to log to log subdirectory. That's it. This will happen. So if anybody asks you about transport troubleshooting, remember one more time I am explaining. First you have to check whether co-file and data file is generated or not. Okay, generated. Then you have to check whether TP is working or not. How you check? SE38 RSTP test. If everything is Nike symbol, okay. Then check temp directory is updating or not. Where is your temp directory? Temp directory, USRSAP trans temp. You will find the temp directory, that directory you have to check. Okay, fine. Then log directory. Did you get any log in that log subdirectory? I'll check temp directory and log directory. USR SAP trans the temp directory. That some files are coming and vanishing here. That means your transport is running. Or else you will get log in log subdirectory. See all the logs you need to run according to the time. You have to run that. You have to read that log. Fine. Then check your TR bat and TR job is running on TR job and TR bat entries. temp subdirectory. Okay, fine, it is updating. And your log, you don't have any unsuccessful logs, everything is a successful log. Okay, fine. Then you have to check whether any entries are there in your tr bat and tr job tables. How you check table entries? To check table entries, SE16
SE16.
tr bat.
ATR bet.
Give it star all entries. I need. Do you have any entries? No table entries. Then tr job. If you are having any old entries, it will show you there. Tr job table. No table entries. That means no table entries are found in that. If there are any entries which stuck, you have to just delete them. So to check any table entries, SE16. To check in to run any report, SE38. Remember, SE38 for running reports. To open any table, SE16. Remember these two T codes, SE16 and SE38. And you have to check whether RDD MPDP is working or not. How you check? Go to SCM37 background job, check. That's it. If the RDD MPDP is not scheduled, you have to schedule RDD new PP. That will schedule that. Simple. If you mention all these names, nobody knows all these things. Only if your transport is running fine, you need not to bother about all these things. You just release from there, your developer will release, and he will tell you to import into the quality system. You import into quality, then import into production. That's it. If you get any problem, you should know when you are importing what is happening in a backend. Then only you can troubleshoot that. So the normal guy don't know this tr bat table, tr job table, RDD MPDP, RSTP test. If you mention these keywords in your interview, that is enough. So this is what happened. This is how a transport will run in SAP. Any doubts in the entire SAP transport topic? This transport topic is a very huge concept. I am having 1400 pages book for this TMS, only TMS concept. So if you are having multiple systems, how you configure TMS? If you are having multiple clients, how you configure TMS? From OS level, how to transport TMS? There are so many things. So at this moment, you need only these things. When you are experienced enough, we will discuss some other things also in TMS at the time of interview preparation. We already discussed last week TMS interview questions.
Yeah.
That interview preparation will be running every day. Nothing to worry. So now you finish a TMS now. If I start the TMS interview questions, it will be good for you, right? So after 1 week, I think after 1 week, I'll again start that from TMS troubleshooting, again system refresh. That class will be everyday class, that interview preparation. So that it will be very easy for you guys to attend interviews. You'll easily crack jobs. I want to continue that interview preparation session at 8 p.m. At 3 p.m. we'll cover one by one topics. Now today we finished the TMS, right? Tomorrow I'll try